Hey, what's up everyone? It's Nathan and welcome back to Coach Nate High Level Performance TV. In this video we're going to look at the squat. We're also going to have a look at, in particular, some of the common faults that we see in the squat and looking at how our foot structure can impact our squat. So in particular I'm doing this video for a client, and one of the most common issues I see with squatting is if we've got much of an arch, our foot structure, our foot anatomy is going to have a big impact on how we squat and how deep we can sit into our squat and positioning. So if we have, as you can see looking at myself, I've got quite a big arch in my foot, a natural arch. Okay, having that is good in terms of squatting because it's going to allow me to get external rotation where I want to drive my knee and push outwards. Okay, so naturally I've got that arch. When we squat, we want to think about using our big toe, our little toe, and our heel to create a tripod. Okay, so I want to think of almost like a claw. I'm going to use them to grip into the floor, and that's going to help me create even more of a natural arch. So if I didn't have an arch, that will help, and that helps to then drive and push those knees out. However, many people will have flat feet. So if you've got flat feet, the common tendency is the ankle wants to collapse inwards, and when the ankle collapses in, the knees want to collapse in, like this, okay? And when we're doing this, we're putting a lot of pressure on the kneecap, and we're also not going to get most efficient power and drive through. Okay, we're not switching on our glutes, which is what we want when we're doing the squat. So if you feel like, if you film yourself and you can see you're quite flat-footed and naturally it wants to drop in, and your knees are kind of going in as you drop and squat down, then what we need to focus on is trying to create that arch in the foot. So what I want you to think about when you squat is use the big toe, the heel, and the little toe, grab the floor, so try and create an arch, screw the feet into the floor, and try and drive the knees, so we want to externally rotate and push out, okay? Once I've got that, I keep the weight in my heels, my arms up here or out, I push my hips back, bend the knees, and then I drop down. Okay, one of the issues for myself, I struggle to get into that deep squat because I've got really poor ankle mobility, and that's something through years of football. So if we can't get much range, so if I'm quite tight, I can feel my shins back on my, and into the actual joint itself. My knees don't want to track forward very far. So if my knees can't go very far forward over my toe, it means what's going to happen is I'm going to arch the hip a bit much more. So you can see as I drive out, because I struggle to try and keep my weight upright, I can't get much lower than that. Okay. So the first tool we can look at using as well to help us with driving the knees out and opening up is a resistance band. Okay, a little mini band. So what we can do is use one of these. We want to bring it around, and we're going to pop it just above the knees like that. Okay. And the whole idea of that is just going to help to activate the glutes a little bit more. And it's just going to be a little reminder to me if my knees are coming in. So I want to feel like I'm pushing out against that band. So I want to, again, screw, try and create the arch, push the knees out, chest up, and then I'm sitting down. Okay, so I sit into that hole. The problem, again, that sometimes I see, if we're using a band that's really, really strong, it's too strong for us, it's going to kind of even cause more problems, because if the band's too strong, I'm really struggling to push out against it, then the knees are just want to come in more. So pick a band that we feel the resistance and we can feel that it's there's tension, but there's not so much tension that I can't actually drive my knees against it, okay? So that's all about finding the right strength resistance band for you. The final thing we can do, so for someone like myself, if you feel like when you're squatting, so maybe we've managed to sort these issues out, so we've got the arch there, we're using the band, okay, so I'm coming down, but I'm still struggling to get a lot of depth on that squat. So as I set up, chest up, core is tight, so I'm not sticking my butt out, and then I'm dropping through the knees. Okay, as I'm coming down, I'm still struggling, and as I said, that's because of poor ankle mobility. So the next fix that we can have a look at, which isn't ideal, it's not a long-term solution, but if you're someone like myself who's got biomechanical issues at the ankle, you can do all the mobility in the world and it's not going to make a difference. So one thing we can do is just raise those heels up a little bit. So now when I squat, I'm still digging, I'm still want to screw the feet, push the knees out. And now I can get into a nice deep full squat and keep that chest up. Okay, so as I come down, first thing I do, I externally rotate, I screw the feet, keep the chest up, push the hips back, and then I'm back out again. Okay, so I hope that helps. A couple of key things to always think about to summarize. If you're somebody that is flat-footed, okay, if you notice the ankles and the knees rolling in, two things you want to do. First, think about pushing your weight to the outside of the foot. Try and create that arch in the foot, and then use maybe a band to help drive out. So make sure if you film yourself, you'll see whether your knees are coming in and collapsing. Okay, we want to feel those glutes fired up before we even drop into the hole. So I hope that video helps. Make sure if you enjoyed that to subscribe to the channel and head over to highlevelperformance.co.uk to check out more free content.